From Virtual CES 2021, a wireless iPhone charger that doesn't require furniture modification? This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by you, our viewers and listeners, through our Patreon and PayPal sponsorship options. To learn more, visit macvoices.com/support. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is part of our CES coverage, and I am happy to welcome Paul from Kew Labs, VP of Sales of Kew Labs, to talk about a different kind of charging option. Paul, thanks so much for the time. I know you have nothing else to do.
No problem. Thanks, Chuck.
So tell us about this particular charging option. I like it because you advertise it as invisible, which of course that can't quite be, or we'd never be able to find it. But I really like the option of being able to just, from the description I understand, set my phone on the desk and have it charge.
Yeah, our whole concept here is, you have to charge your cell phone, and everybody doesn't like wires on their desk or on their beautiful tables in the middle of the living room. So our whole concept is to try to integrate wireless charging into your everyday life, but you really don't see it with the ability to just set your phone down on either your desk as you're working or in the kitchen as you're eating breakfast, reading your morning newspaper, or online, of course. Nobody reads the newspaper anymore, right? As far as paper, or while you're making dinner or those types of things. So that's really the concept. We kind of did a preliminary launch last year at CES. We had a booth, and then really started to go into the market, and then COVID hit and kind of changed the whole mentality of where to go. Our first thing was we're really going after the business to business market, looking at restaurants, hotels, stadiums, those types of atmospheres, figuring that was the best bang for the buck to where everybody could take advantage of it. And like I said, then COVID hit and all those places shut down. So we kind of decided to go after the consumer market to start, and we really launched in October of this year. We took advantage of COVID, sort of, with being able to make some updates to the product to make the product better. In that time where we were down between CES and October of this year, and we now have been out into the market on the consumer side. And now we're looking with CES 2021 to get back into go after the business market, and really going after the contactless side of it. You're sitting at a restaurant, you walk in, you need to look at a menu. Now you can put your phone near the label on the table, and with NFC be able to pull up the menu for that restaurant, order your food, and then be able to put your phone down and be able to charge the phone as you're sitting there eating your meal. So we're kind of trying to go back after the business market with the contactless model.
So it's fair to say that this mounts under the table. So
correct.
That I'm putting my phone on the table, but there's a table between me and the charge.
Correct.
Charger. Correct. Is this? What kind of pass through am I getting as far as the charging power?
Basically, what we're doing is we're putting about 30 watts of output of power from the actual unit in order to achieve the 9 watts for Samsung fast charging, or the 7.5 watts for the Apple fast charging.
Okay.
So the phone's actually seeing those protocols.
Right. And obviously the charger underneath the table is plugged into a power outlet somewhere.
Correct.
Right. Do we have any concerns about heat, since this is bolted to the table underneath? And we all know that chargers tend to get a little warm. And so is that a concern, or is that something that does it come with a caveat about that?
Yeah, it's always a concern, and with wireless charging, you do generate heat when you're charging your phone. We have developed a patented IPC technology, and what that does is that communicates between the charger and the phone. So if, for example, the phone is getting too much heat and sends the protocol to the charger, it needs to stop charging. The charger will stop charging until it cools down, and then it can start charging again. So we have that built into the IPC technology.
Okay, makes perfect sense, but it's a question that needs to be asked.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, understand. And it definitely, the and with, I should answer with the power question. Um, we do have a setting on the device itself, a low and a high. And depending on the thickness of surface that you're trying to go through, you would put it in the low mode or the high mode. The high mode, if you're closer to the inch, it only works up to an inch, unfortunately. Wireless charging is limited based off of physics, unfortunately. Um, and then we also do have a thin version option that will work between 10 and 17 millimeters. And again, same thing. You'd put it in a low and a high depending on the thickness that you're going through. And what it does is it varies the amount of power and wattage that's going through to maximize the efficiency through that surface.
Any restrictions on what kind of material my table can be?
Everything but metal.
Okay, glass, no problem.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
how does this attach? I mean, is it screwed into the table or does it attach via adhesive?
Either method. There's small screws that you can put into the corners of the devices, or it has a double stick tape on the around the whole perimeter that you can peel and stick. So the whole concept is easy installation. Um, if I don't know how familiar you are with wireless charging, but there are concepts of doing it through furniture out there, and most of those are you have to drill through the surface of the table and get the charger, which normally the wireless chargers have direct contact, or you have to be within about 4 millimeters of the surface. So the concept is either drill a hole totally through your table, or almost all the way through, getting as close to the surface as you can. Which obviously, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be drilling holes through my beautiful furniture or my kitchen counter. So this alleviates all that with easy installation.
Yeah, that sort of defeats the whole purpose.
Exactly.
At some point, just give me a charger, I'll put it on the desk and be done with it. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Are these available now? And do they come in sets like you were saying for restaurants? Do you sell them in batch or is it a one by one?
They're currently available now. We started, like I said, we have them on our website. You can order them and we really launched in October. One of the other features I should mention is we do have the ability to daisy chain two together. So even though you need a power adapter, you can, with one power adapter, power two devices. So if you can think about a coffee shop where you have a table, you would only need one plug-in, and you could have two chargers mounted underneath the surface, so that two people sitting at the table could charge at the same time.
I wouldn't have thought to ask that, but it makes perfect sense. Yeah, that especially if we're talking about restaurants or maybe an office, I want to put one of these on my side of the desk and the other side for whoever I'm talking to.
Yeah, I mean, think about a kitchen island, for example. I have two in daisy chained in upstairs in in our kitchen, and it's very convenient. And you don't realize how many times you're just about in the area, and you just set your phone down and charging. And really, we're trying to create wireless charge, or I'd say cell phone charging is kind of a panic for people, right? Oh my gosh, what's my phone at? Oh, I got to plug it in overnight. It doesn't take 8 hours overnight to charge your cell phone, obviously, but everybody does it. And we're really trying to come away with a new mentality of charging your cell phone, that it's in your normal everyday environment all around you. It's in your kitchen, it's in your living room. And some of the automobiles now have it in the car. So, when you get into the car, you can put it and have wireless charging. You get to the restaurant, it's at there. It's just in your everyday life is what we're really trying to get this wireless charging to be, versus always having to worry about, oh, do I have my cable? Do I have my wire? Do I have everything? And especially with the latest issues with the pandemic, contactless is a big concern. You don't want to be sharing wires and cables, and think about airports and those types in restaurants, right? You don't want to be plugging in and out of a cable and touching the same thing as someone else. So having it just put your phone on the surface and it charges is great concept.
Yeah, and unfortunately too, we've talked about this on this show before, but plugging your phone into something that you don't know, a charger you don't know, not just from a power standpoint, but from a security standpoint, is
Yeah.
not a great idea. So the contactless charging definitely has that appeal too.
Yeah, and like I said, when you put your phone on over the charger, it will basically the charger is looking for a phone to charge, and you put down an iPhone, it identifies itself as an iPhone, and then we then emit the right power for that iPhone, which, like I said, is 7.5 watts. And then if it's a Samsung, it'll ID it. If it's neither one of those two, then it'll do 5 watt charge.
Right. How about the pricing? What kind of price do we have for these?
On the website right now, it's $104.99. So that's our launch price right now. And again, as everything, as volumes grow and demands pick up, we see the ability to be able to lower that. Hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully it takes off and allows us to get to volume, and we can lower that price lower.
And that comes with one charging unit that mounts and one power adapter.
Adapter, correct.
Right. And so if I can, do I add a cord or another adapter to connect that second charger?
Yeah, if you go onto our website, we have the ability to order a daisy chain unit, which in that case you'll get 2 units. You'll get the cable to connect the two, and you'll get the bigger power adapter. Obviously, you need a little bit more power out of that adapter to power 2 of them than one. So it is a different power adapter, but that is provided in the price.
Perfect. And the website that we've been referring to is
KewLabsTech.com. KEWLABSTECH.com.
Perfect. Paul, thank you for the time. Really appreciate it. I know CES is really busy.
No problem.
And appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, no problem. You can always find more information on our website as well.
Great.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
All right.
Folks,
take
I'm
care.
Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. More with CES coming up. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.